What's going on, everybody? And today I'm going to show you how to create a simple form using HTML. So the first thing you will need is a code editor. Best one to use is Sublime. Simply search up Sublime or Sublime Text. Find the download. Select your operating system and your version and go through the download process. It'll be exactly the same as in other programs. I already have it installed in my case, so I'm going to simply open it, start a new one, let's save it on the desktop as form. Make sure the extension is HTML, and I'm going to start off with the doc type. Simply press enter. So you need your closing, press enter. Then you have your HTML tags, and if you press enter, simply start typing HTML and press enter. It'll fill everything in for you. Just going to get rid of the top line. Make sure you have nothing before the doc type, or that will cause errors. The title in this case is what will appear in the top of the tab. I'm just going to call this form for now. Then in your body is where everything that shows up in the browsers, in the actual web page, that's where it's going to be. So I'm going to simply put in H1, simply type your opening tag H1 and press enter. Sublime fills it in for you. I'm going to call this form, and then below that and start a form tag. This is where the form will go. And from here, you simply start, if you want everything spaced down onto separate lines, put it inside paragraph tags. Every line that's in a paragraph will be on a separate line. We're going to space that down, and we're going to put a label. That'll be the label for the form field. We're going to call this first name. And below that, we're going to have an input. Sublime does the rest. You simply put your opening tag input and press enter. You have your type. The type in this case will be text. The name, we'll call this first underscore name. Make sure you never have spaces in your names or IDs. I'm going to add an ID. This ID is not necessary. This is simply what you use for styling. This is how you call this specific form field. And that should be one field. Let's take a look at it in the browser. You simply double click and this will open in Chrome. And there we have our title. Our title in the top of the tab, as you can see, is form, what we added in the head. And then the H1 right there is form. And we have our field, our input field of first name. And type anything you want in here. Right now this is not going to submit to anywhere. Let's go back into the text editor. Now we can add a closing p tag. Open another one. Another label. Last name. Another input. Type again is text. call this last name, give it an ID of the same, and there we have now two fields. Now for the submit button, which actually submits the form, you can either put another input, or put this inside p tags again. You can either do this, in this case you wouldn't have a type, you would simply have, actually you would have a type, the type would be submit, let's give it a name of submit, and then you will have a button, or you can also do this in a different way. You put a button tag, give it your value, call this submit, give it a type of submit, and that should now give us our button. Go back into the browser, hit the refresh. Now as you can see we have our first name, last name, and our submit button. This right now will not submit to anywhere. As you can see, type random information in here, hit submit, it simply resets the form. Now the style of this, you would simply go back up into your head. We'll do this underneath the title tag, space down to give it some space. We'll put our style tags. You don't necessarily need this. You can take that out. Space this down. And here we have our styles. So for regular HTML tags, you simply type, so to style the body, simply type body, opening curly brace, and a closing curly brace. You don't have to, but in this case we're going to space it down. Let's give it a background. Let's give it a background color. Use hex. Give it a background color of black. And a color of white. This is, by the way, written in hex. This gives us, if we now save this, shortcut for that is Control S. Go back into the browser, hit Control F5 or function F5. As you can see, we have a black background and white text. Now to style the form, we simply get the form tag and then add on the input, opening, closing curly brace, and then you can add your styles. Let's give this a line height of 28 pixels, everything in CSS, which is what this is, by the way, styling CSS. Everything's done in pixels. And give the inputs a background, linear, gradient, so no auto fill in there, linear gradient, which will give us a gradient. If you want to give it a background color, you type background dash color and give it its color. The color is the color of the text. And the line height is the height of each line, the height of each text line, and the background. In this case, we're giving a linear background, so it's simply background : linear dash gradient. And here we have our colors. Let's take 2 colors for now. We'll give it blue. Make sure you have a comma separating the 2 colors, and black. Semicolon at the end of each line. Make sure you don't forget that. And now, after refreshing, as you can see here, we have a linear gradient inside the font fields. I know this looks very ugly. It's just an example. You can also give it a border of, let's give it a white border, and also a border radius of let's say 15 pixels. And that now gives each form field, right, in this case it seems to have, as you can see, the border radius had a pretty big effect. It gives the borders a round appearance. I'm not sure in this case what happened to the border. I gave it a color of white. It seemed to have disappeared. Anyways, that's a CSS issue. Right now I'm not going to deal with that. Anyways, that's how you make a simple form. And this is very basic. I'm not using JavaScript to set a submit location or anything like that. We're not outputting the information. We're just creating a simple form. Anyways, if you want more tutorials like this, let me know in the comments. I'll see you guys in the next one.